Let's get some reaction now from Gauteng Health MEC Nomantu Nkomo-Ralehoko. A very good afternoon to you, MEC. Thank you so much for your time. But before we get reaction on what the DA has had to say, let's start with your response, MEC. What do you believe to be the cause behind another incident that's halted operations at the Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital?
On Monday, we received a report in the morning from the clinicians that the facility, they are noticing in the facility that there is a slow flow of oxygen, and that is lower than normal because they know how is it when it's not normal. And they reported that to us, and you, including the Department of Economic Development. And immediately when it was checked, they went to the plant room where these machines are, and we realized that there was a stolen pipe that runs there, and that runs this process. And this led to this discovery that the oxygen supply pipe is the one that has been tampered with. And the copper pipe was replaced immediately, and the process to move patients back to the main ICU was completed successfully on Wednesday, which was yesterday. And again, another incident, it was now on the 21st of December, yesterday, when our nurses in the theater, which is theater number 15 and theater 16, noticed water suddenly seeping very slowly from the autoclave system. That system is the system that is used to sterilize the machines that are used in the theater. And when the matter was investigated again, then we discovered that indeed, again here, there is a pipe that has been stolen. So you can see that there was a trend now. We investigated the issue, and what we did, we reported the matters, both of them, to the police. Commissioner Mawela and his team are busy investigating as we speak, so that if there's anything, those things must be sorted out, because the damaged copper pipe in the process, it has been replaced, done, but we don't want that incident to happen again to another institution, because you know at Salon, okay, 2 weeks back, we discovered again DID officials collaborating with the contractors stole the copper machine, copper pipes that were there that were supposed to be installed. But what we did, even them, those guys were in jail as we speak. But again, the recent one, which really all of you, when you wake up yesterday, it happened in the evening yesterday, of a water leak all over, almost everywhere in the hospital. There was the areas that had that problem, that were flooded by heavy rains from yesterday, was Ward 38, which was heavily flooded, Ward 22, Zakiti Phase 2, which is the part that deals with oncology, and outside JDA Allen and POC. POC is a lab that we are using, yeah. IC room, tier room, emergency room, recovery room, theater number 15 and number 26, and theater 1 and 2. So this seems that there is a deliberate attempt to disrupt the services in the institution, because for me and for the colleagues, that for the past 2 months we've been less in terms of problems, because we've been focusing on resolving all these issues that we know that they are hampering the services in our hospitals. And we have notified them in the past, and as I've indicated, the DIT employees were dismissed after employees were found have stolen the copper, the ones at Charlotte Makleki, although the law again is taking its course in that incident. Fortunately, both incidents that happened in the past 2 to 3 days, and they were trying to create a crisis, but we managed to avert the crisis. As we speak, there's not a single patient that was affected with that. Even when we're doing the movements were doing swiftly. Yeah. What we have done in the department when I arrived.
If you'll allow me to just interrupt you there, perhaps you'll agree with me that this is a crisis that could have been averted.
Yes.
And of course, it's garnered a lot of reaction from many factors, including the DA, which is calling for a review of security contracts. They're saying that the department pays more than 20 million rand a year on security, yet falling victim to such incidents, questioning then why are you paying so much as a department with these incidents happening? What is your assessment of the security, and where do you think the problem is?
I will not dispute the problem of that, because there can't be incidents like that happen if we have a tighter security. But what we have done, we have a business case, which is a contingency plan that I've said the team must do, even before these incidents are happening, of strengthening our security. I've asked them to make sure that they have a business case that must talk to, as much as we can have security at the door, but we must tighten our security. We must have CCTVs, especially in important areas. What makes me happy is that it's unlike it's something that I didn't see or my team didn't see. We were busy with the assessment. When TNDA is calling for that, even in the committee of the legislature, when I was with them 2 weeks back, it's something that I've raised and I've picked up, the issues of our security in the hospitals. On Monday, I was in Tembisa on that issue of a video again that was circulating. Often individuals just came in there, ordered that all patients that are at the casualty waiting to be checked by the doctors, because that was not even a ward, that one. It's a casualty area for psychiatric patients, because we can't mix them with other patients. But what happened of a person that you don't even know, say, take everyone out, and then they took people out, start destabilizing the room, take other patients that are sick, put them on the floor on purpose. So those are the things that if there is security that is tightened, or we have a video or a CCTV camera, those things we should have picked them up and know who was involved in that. Even they were investigating the issue. I will not even defend this one. We have to tighten our security. We have to review our security in all hospitals. As I've already said, it's in the minutes and in the documents. We're working on that. But again, we have short-term and long-term interventions that we're going to do in all the hospitals. You know, part of our short-term interventions is this one, even of intervention that we have done, that at least now we have 17 of our hospitals already exempted from load shedding, and out of 37 hospitals. We have things that we are doing, but even this one of the security can be left alone, unattended.
Yes. So MEC, if you admit that more needs to be done, of course you can't not have CCTV cameras, and you need to tighten security. So where's the 20 million rand going? That's a lot of money to be spent without CCTV footage, without a tightened security. I mean, these security contracts, to my understanding, were awarded in 2016, yet they're being rolled over. And the DA says that process of rolling over the security contracts is irregular.
That's exactly where we agree, because you remember, I'm coming from the background of finance. Part of the things that I've raised, it's irregular contracts that are in the department. We are reviewing all the contracts in the department. We are doing check and balances. Which ones are there that are not there even correctly? I am going to get that report. So it's something that I was implementing it when this one happens. But we'll definitely act on that, because we can't have contracts that have been there for long, because it's not good governance. We need clean governance. Part of irregular contracts that makes us not to get clean audit as the department is because of the contracts that are not regular. So we're working on that, and they know that even at the legislature where Bloem sits as a member of the legislature, hence you are speaking on that issue strongly so. But that's why I was saying he is right, and I am correct, because on my side, before you can deal with your contract, you start by contract review. You review your contracts, you check which ones are correct, which ones are not correct, and the team is busy with that. I am 2 months in office, but it doesn't give us any excuse that now we must not act when there's something that is wrong. Now this gives us more energy and power and vigor to install proper systems. I was saying at some stage, I'm tightening controls in the department. This is part of tightening control.
Yeah.
In department, because we shouldn't have that of contracts that are there for ages and they are not reviewed. They are just working wire. So the 20 million that he's talking about is not only going to Bara, it's for all the institutions that we have, including the clinics. And it's not a 20 million for 1 month. That's another thing. So, but those are the things that will definitely correct them. I can't refuse and say he's not right, he's wrong, because that's me that said that to them, that were reviewing the contracts.
Okay. So let me perhaps go back a little bit. Just correct me if I may have not heard you correctly. Did you say that arrests have since been made following these two incidents?
Yes. Not arrests, investigations. The one that people have been dismissed by the DIT are the ones at Charlotte Maxeke. But on our side, we have reported the cases. Those ones are in jail, some of them, because they were caught red-handed. These two incidents, Commissioner Mawela have sent his team, because I spoke to him, the team spoke to him. Already they are on top of the cases. We have not done arrests, but definitely will do arrests, because the rooms where these pipes are, it's secret rooms that nobody can just get in there.
So you believe that this is an inside job?
It may be a collaboration, not only inside, they may collaborate. You know how criminals work. They always have collaborate. I think I would say to you, it can be a collaboration of the syndicate. So criminals work together. And I was saying earlier on in one interview, and you must know that criminals, if we chase them in Gauteng, they'll definitely go to another province and do the same thing if we leave them. But here we're going to close them down, because we're not going to allow them to destabilize our health services in the province.
And in the meantime, how are operations internally being affected? I know you said that the copper pipe was replaced immediately, but what are some of the ripple effects that have resulted within internal, deliberations when it comes to the day-to-day running of the hospital?
Everything is happening swiftly, so we have a contingency plan for each hospital, not only Bara, to ensure that the core services are sufficiently covered. And again, we have a plan that is outlined our health personnel that must be on duty daily and leave their plans. But again, we have a routine maintenance that is going to be done. Again, the checks in terms of the securities, that every corner is properly secured for now until we tighten up everything. And we know that the families are worried about their loved ones. They are all safe. That's the message that we've been sending the whole day in the morning. And I think the one, again, the incident that was frustrating all of you is the one of the water leak that was happening yesterday in some parts of the hospital. Even that one, it has been attended to. The Department of Health at National senior officials were there even this morning to ensure that it is day-to-day running of the institution. So we are making sure that things work normally in the institution. Yeah.
Very well. Thank you so much, Gauteng Health MEC Nomantu Nkomo-Ralehoko, giving us an update there on what has transpired following the two attacks on Gauteng hospitals and, of course, some of the thinking behind who could be responsible.